everybody. How you doing? Not doing too bad here. Now if I'm talking kind of funny, it's because yesterday I was at the dentist and they pulled 4 of my upper teeth and I had upper dentures installed. I'm still getting used to them. And here in the next few months, the lowers are going to come out and lower dentures put in. You get to a certain age and the wheels start to fall off. Okay, so what do we got here? We have a Siemens EStop safety module, and it is model number 3TK2807. And I think there's a little bit more today, yeah, -0BB4. Now here's our hookups right here. Before we get into it, we're going to test it and see what the problem is. Normally it's high contact resistance, but sometimes you get them where the function of the EStop module doesn't work, and that's a little bit more difficult to figure out. But let's go ahead and get closer and we'll test this. Let us first test the function of the EStop module. Now here are the hookups, and I'll put this up at the end of the video. So we're going to apply 24 volts DC to the A1 and A2 terminals. Positive 24 to the A1 terminal and a ground to the A2 terminal. Okay, our power LED has illuminated. Now what we're going to do, we have the switch from X1 to X3 and X5 closed. X3 and X5 are jumped together, and then the other side of the switch goes to X1. This switch right here, we're going to close. It's open right now, and that goes from X1 over here to X4. Let's close that one. Okay. Now channel 1 LED is illuminated. Channel 2 LED is illuminated. That indicates that the contacts on this side are closed. Channel 1 on this unit, its LED is illuminated, and channel 2 LED is illuminated, indicating to us that the contacts over here are closed. Let's open up this switch again. Now we're going to open the switch from X1 to X3 and X5. Channel 1 and channel 2 on this side have turned off, and after a time delay set by this potentiometer, channel 1 and channel 2 on this side has turned off. Let's close this switch from X1 to X3 and X5. Let's close this switch from X1 to X4. Now all contacts have closed. We can open up this one now and they'll stay closed until we open up X1 to X3 and X5. That is good. The function of this EStop module is working. Now what we have to do is check the continuity. Alright, we're applying 24 volts to A1 and A2. We have the switch from X1 to X3 and X5 closed. We're going to close the switch from X1 to X4. All of our LEDs are illuminated, and you can hear the contactors energized. So we're going to go across each contact with our meter. Here's 13 and 14 normally open, and that's 1 point bouncing around about 1.4 something K. That's too high. Here's 23 to 24 normally open, and that is 63 kilo ohms bouncing around. Here's 32 to 30, 33 to 34 normally open. Oh, I can't get a good read on that. That's all over the place. But it's up in the hundreds of K. 43 to 44 normally open. There's 10K. 53 to 54 normally open. 150 something K. Now here's 65 to 66. This one's normally closed, so it should be open. Yes, it is. We'll check it again when the relay contactors are de-energized. Let's go over to the other unit. 77 to 78. 170. Oh no, 1.4, 1.1 mega ohms. That's the worst one. Here's 87 to 88. 780 ohms. That's the best one. It's still too high. Here is 97 to 98. 75 kilo ohms. Okay, let's go back here to the normally closed one. Okay, this is terminal 60, I can't read it, 65 to 66. Hey, look at that, 15.3 ohms, that's the best one. So we go from best to worst. Well, you know what that means. We're going to have to go inside, pull the contactors off the boards, take them apart, and clean the contacts. I dread this. As you saw in the last video, sometimes when you're taking those contactors apart, they break because of the cheap plastic. But we got to do it. You can get these off of eBay, but they'll be worse than the one you have in front of you. I wish, and I'm not sure if you could, I wish you could get a brand new one. I wish you could get a brand new one from Siemens, but I don't even know if they make these anymore. They could be obsolete. We have to undo this plastic clip. Okay, we got that one side. Let's go over to the other side. Now it looks like somebody's already been into this one at one time or another because they've already cut the label. The label goes over the other plastic clip. If I can feel for it. There we go. If the label hadn't been clipped or cut, go ahead and take your razor blade, an X-Acto knife, and slit that seam right there. There we go. We have a little plastic insulator right here. We'll have to put that back in. That's so that these electrical contact points right here don't butt up against the wiring right there in the ribbon cable and get shorted out. We can take this off. This right here is the knob for the potentiometer that changes that time delay. Let's see if we can get a picture of this. Now there's two buttons right here, and they hold the circuit boards in. You see right there's our board right here and our board right here. I just cut them off. You could sit there and try and be gentle with them, but they'll just aggravate you. Come on. There we go. That one broke, so let's go ahead and push that down to the side there so it's out of the way. Now with those buttons out of the way, you can pull your boards out. This one comes out easier than this one over here. It's a little bit more recessed. So I'll go in here and get me a pair of needle nose pliers down in there. See if I can pull it out. It's a little bit stubborn. There we go. We got it now. Here in just a little bit, you'll see what we're getting ourselves into. Okay, we'll move the housing out of the way. There's two contactors right here. There's three contactors right here. There's a sigh of despair. Okay, let's get a picture. Now these labels, they'll come off. They fall off. They're glued on, but over the years from heat and whatnot, they tend to fall off. Now what I'll do, because you can't take these and mix them up. They look very similar. I believe that these two are the same. Let's look at the part number. 505-0311-41000. 505-0311-41000. Yes, these are the same. Now these over here, they get a little bit, I think two are the same and one's different, so you can't get these ones over here mixed up. This is 505-0328-40-000. This one is 505-0328-41. This was 40. This one's 41-000. And this is 505-0328-41-000. So these two are the same. This one is different. If you take and put this one over here, your EStop module won't function correctly. But what I'll do is I'll take some wire labels and I'll wire the contactors and I'll put the same corresponding number on the board after I get the contactor out of the way. Same with these. Even though they're the same, I'll do that over here too, because these things are so difficult to work on. I don't want a chance making a mistake putting it back together. We'll get our wire labels out. Here's our set of wire labels right here. You can get these down at your local electrical supply or off the internet probably. Alright, let's start unsoldering. Let's put this over here. Okay, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's number 1. Number 2. Oh, get on there. Number 3. Now because the labels are on top of these, I'm going to put these numbers on the side. Put them on the outside there. Don't fall down. It's number 4. Number 5, we have the contactors marked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we move the contactor out of the way, we'll put the number on the board. First, we're going to unsolder the larger contactors. I always like to add fresh solder to the old solder. That helps the old solder flow up into the solder sucker. At times, this type of work gets very, very tedious. You have to have a lot of patience. You have to have more patience than you know. Wait till we get inside of one of these contactors. If we don't break it taking it apart, you'll see what this task involves. You got things that you really love working on and repairing, and then there's these other things like this right here that just tries my patience. Makes me want to go off into the woods for a nice long walk. In fact, I think when I get these contactors off of here, I'm going to do that. we go. Ready to start removing the solder from the vias of the contactor leads. The nice thing about these vias is they're pretty sturdy. In all the ones I've worked on, I've never pulled up a via off of these units right here. It's very tedious work. I feel like I'm in the back of Dad's old Bel Air station wagon. And he's driving from one air base to the next. And all of us kids are back there, Dad, are we there yet? No, we're not. Y'all calm down back there. uh, come on. Come on, let's go. We ain't even off the first contactor yet. Almost done with the second one. Now for the third one. All right, finally. Now we're going to take some solder wick and wick out the solder that the solder sucker didn't get. Then we'll break the contactor leads away from the vias of the board. And we should be able to remove the contactors. with your iron, push the contactor leads away from the vias of the board. This will help free up the contactor from the board. Alright, let's see how we did. Ah, look at that! It's free! Now we got to number the board for the number of the contactor with the wire labels. Now for the second contactor, the second large contactor. Hope it comes out as easy as the first one. Almost there. Let's push the leads of the contactor away from the vias of the board. Oh, be a sweetheart. Don't give us no trouble coming out. This job's hard enough to begin with, much less fighting a unit that don't want to come off the board. Let's see. Oh, come on. It's like pulling teeth. I had 4 teeth pulled yesterday. Now, many years ago, I lost my molars. And so all I had was 4 teeth to come out the top. Come on. Oh, I think we got it. All right, there we go. Now let's mark the board number 2. By marking the contactor and marking the board, we'll know where that contactor originated from and we can get it put back in the right place. There we go. One more large contactor, and then we got to go over there and do the 2 smaller contactors. right in this area right here, you have to be a little bit careful about not putting your iron on that flexible ribbon cable that joins the two boards together. All right, we got the 3 large contactors removed. Let's mark the board. There we go. Now for the 2 smaller contactors. We're almost there. Let's add a little bit of solder to help the old solder flow up into the solder sucker. People, has your brain jumped out of your head and run off into the woods yet? Oh, it feels like it. Feels like it's on the verge. This is mind-numbing work. Wait till we go into the contactors. You'll be blown away. Hopefully I can get one apart or get 4 apart without tearing them up. It's my greatest fear in this job right here, because there's little, you'll see in a little bit, but there's latches that hold the moving part of the contactor to the stationary part. And when you stick your screwdriver in there to prime apart, either the hook will break or the crossbar will break. And you have to be very aggressive to separate the moving part from the stationary part, but at the same time, you have to be very gentle. And it's very difficult. Enough of me rambling on. Let's get on with the work. Now the day's getting late. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all 5 contactors done today. We'll see. I can get at least 1 done. Now we're getting 1 done. I'll have to do the other 4 tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. There's always tomorrow. which is the harder part, getting these contactors off the boards or taking them apart to clean the contacts. Both functions are just as equally hard. Be nice if we had an assembly line here where one person could pull the contactors. Well, let me back up. One person could disassemble the contactors out of the housing. Another person could remove the contactors from a board, and the third person could clean the contactors. And while the one person that removed the boards or removed the boards from the housing could go and help the person that's cleaning the contactors, and the person that unsoldered the contactors could go help the person that's cleaning the contact. But it's only me. and we got to do it all. That's what makes it so frustrating. We've been downsized so hard that we're at, okay, there's the number 4 contactor. Let's mark the board with the number 4 label. But that's what makes it so hard, is that you have to do everything. Absolutely everything. And it's some of the work that I do is just mind-numbing. And I wanna just like retire. But I can't, because there's other things that have to be fixed. Okay, number 5 contactor. Come on. Use a solder wick to remove the solder that the solder sucker didn't remove. Almost there. Dad, we there yet? Almost, son. Y'all be quiet back there. I miss my dad. He was a good fella. Okay. Push the contactor leads away from the walls of the vias of the board. Ah, look how easy that was. What was I worried about? Oh, we ain't got to the hard part yet, there, people. Removing those contactors from the board, that was the hard, easy part. Okay, let's mark the board, number 5. There we go. Now we get to take the contactors apart to clean the contacts. Now I use a file to clean the contacts. You'll get to see that here just shortly. We're going to start on that number 1 contact, the big one. Now for the funnest of the funnest part. We get to take our number 1 contactor, disassemble it, and clean the contacts. And this is the part that I fear. I fear it because every one of these that I've taken apart, I've broken. And at which time, when I break the contactor, I can't put it back together. So here we are. We're going to take this sealant off. It's just a little piece of tape, so we can get to the clips that hold the solenoid to the contactor. Oh, Lord be, here we go. We're going to pry up on one side of the clip and then the other side of the clip, and they should come apart. There we go. Let's get the other side. Now the solenoid is separated from the contactor. We have to remove a spring. Don't lose this spring. If you lose that spring, we're not going back together. I always stick that spring in a bucket so I don't lose it. Here at the shop, if I drop something onto the floor, it's gone forever. Okay. Oh, Lord, this is the part that I fear. There's the spring in the bucket. Don't lose that spring. Those contactors don't work without spring. Now, here we go. Ain't no turning back now. So what we have to do, we have to pry on the clip without breaking it. And this is what I'm going to do with the screwdriver. I'm just going to try to gently push down on that clip to get it separated. And here's the other clip. Oh, people, don't break it. Oh, this is the part that breaks. Oh, whew, I didn't break it. Unbelievable. There's a hook and a clip that we're trying to separate with the screwdriver. Don't break it, people. Oh, I get so nervous about this part right now. Oh, we separated it without breaking it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So there's the contacts. The lower part is the moving part, and the upper part is the stationary part that's soldered to the board. We're going to take a file here in a little bit, and we're going to clean the contacts. I can't believe I didn't break none of those clips or the brace that holds the clips. Hopefully the other 4 contactors will be just as cooperative as this one. Alright, let's take our file. Let's take our file and just scrub the contacts. People, your hat's in the way. Oh yeah, that happens every now and then. There ain't no easy way to do this except for brute force. You just have to get in there and and clean the contacts. Had to get my hat off. I was getting it in the way. Here we go. There ain't no easy way to do this. I wish there was, but there ain't. You just have to get in there and grind away. Now on top of cleaning the contacts of the stationary side, you have to go over to the other side, the movable contacts, and you have to clean those also. We'll get those here in a little bit. One thing at a time. After I get this one contact done, I think I'm gonna call it a day. My teeth are hurting. I've got to go home and take a little bit of a break. You want to make sure that your contacts are absolutely cleaned of all of the corrosion and tarnishing. Otherwise, when you put it back together, you have to take it apart again. And then there's that chance you break the clips and the struts that hold the clips to the stationary part. So here we are with the movable contacts. We have to go in here and clean these also. These are harder to get on because they're down in the openings of that white plastic right there. but you can clean them. They're accessible. Now after we get done cleaning these contacts, we'll test this, we'll reassemble and test this one contact. And tomorrow, Sunday, today's Saturday, tomorrow we'll come in and we'll clean the other 4 contactors. Then we'll put the unit together and retest it and make sure all is good. There we go. Here's the part that gets soldered down to the board. A little bit more scrubbing. If it's not nice and shiny, I'll go back over it and clean them again. Just a little bit more. The hard part is when you've scrubbed on these contacts and you put it all back together and you still have contact resistance. And then you have to stress yourself on taking it apart without breaking it. The clips on this plastic is so brittle, and it is infuriating when you break one of these. So you absolutely want to make sure that before you reassemble it, that you've got those contacts clean. Okay, we look good? Do we look good? Got to get everybody lined up. There we are, we're clipped in. Now to install the torsion spring. I use a pair of tweezers to compress the spring, and then a screwdriver to push it down into the socket. Be careful. Don't let that spring boink off. There we go. Did we get it? Yes, we did. We have to straighten it out a little bit. Use the pick to straighten it out. There we go. All right. We've got that part back together. Now to join the contactor to the solenoid, you want to push up on that lever down there. That helps you align the solenoid to the contactor. Make sure it moves after you get it together. There we go. Now to perform the test to make sure that we have good contact resistance. All right, let's see how we did. Let's check those normally closed contacts. Let's turn the light on. That's good. That one's good. Let's energize the contactor. We'll check the other contacts. Get on there. That's good. It's normally closed is open now. Normally closed is open. That's good. That's good. That one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. All right. 4 more contactors to go. We'll save that for tomorrow. Okay. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you when the sun comes up.